get started tonight. My name is Patrick Barth. I'm on the board here with CCDG. Tonight we have a very special guest in Autumn Payne. She's with Perkin Elmer. I really look forward to this presentation on a new HPLC technology. So let's give a warm welcome to Autumn Payne.
Hello everybody, thank you all for your attention today. We're going to be talking about Perkin Elmer's new QSight500 LCMS-triple quad with extreme robustness. We'll get into it a little bit, very exciting. There we go. Perfect. Has anyone here seen the QSight before or heard about it, worked with it? Stand over there, thank you, you know about it. Well, first of all, it is an extremely small system. It sits on the floor. It's a vertical triple quad. So you can save a lot of space in the laboratory, which is really nice. It is a flow-based mass spec, so we use nitrogen gases to transfer the ions to the quads. And then due to its StayClean HCID, which I'll get into in a lot of depth later, very simple to easy to operate, not a lot of maintenance necessary. Just to kind of further highlight how small it is, it's really a 2x2 footprint for the mass spec itself. So again, space saving in a laboratory, which has huge benefits there. The HPLC that goes with it, the UHPLC that goes with it, will fit on the table next to it with the computer, 4-foot table. You're set for the lab. It's really nice. Compact system. The UHPLC is a Spark Holland UHPLC. It's got a couple nice features. It's a dual binary, so you can have 4 options for mobile phase. It runs 2 at a time. It does have automated priming and purging within the pump, so you don't have to worry about crazy baseline. Nice degasser in there. Automated priming and purging. It also has a built-in degasser, so there's not a lot of issues there with multi-phase separation. We have 3 types of injection modes in the auto sampler, so you can get the most out of your injection type. Smaller injections, we do use micrometer pickup sandwiches in the phase to really get all of that injection on column. And our column oven does have an integrated 3-way diverter valve in it. Everything is fully controlled by the software. The diverter valve can easily switch between ESI and APCI introductions, as they're both fully installed in the system at all times. So you don't have to switch your ionization source. For the 500, it comes with a couple of added benefits compared to our older systems, which would be like the 400 and the 200 series. It definitely has an increased sensitivity, so it's 1 million to 1 for positive and negative. We also have an M1RF ramping program, so the M1RF will actually ramp on the mass. So you can get better sensitivity for your system. And then this system is modular, so especially within the mass spec, all of the boards are easily changed and serviced. So again, leading to less downtime and increased productivity. And the new edit probe, which is exciting. It doesn't work on the screen, sorry. The new edit probe is a combination of ESI and APCI. So if you're familiar with your traditional ESI and APCI introductions, you can now combine them into one probe. The probe's actually guarded by a sheath. There's a decrease in electron voltage that draws your electrons into the introduction. And you concentrate the spray to get analyte dependent up to 3 or 4 times sensitivity just by using that probe. So that's more for your cleaner matrices with the edit probe, but our traditional ESI probe comes with enhanced robustness due to our HCID, which I'll get into. Here in our differentiators for the QSight. Thank you. Okay, yeah, can everybody see okay better? Awesome. So we talk about the differentiators for the QSight itself. You can start with your ion introductions. We have 2 ion sources, dual source, ESI and APCI, or the APCI can be replaced with the edit probe, which will then give you ESI and APCI, so you have double ESI. So there's a lot of versatility there to get a wider coverage of nail lengths. We also, from our hot surface, our StayClean technology, is our hot surface induced desolvation inlet. This is where all of our robustness comes from. So this is, I have some slides in the, so I have a couple slides coming up soon to talk about the HSID, and I'll really highlight it there. And then the laminar flow ion guides, again, driving your ions through the quads with the flow of nitrogen gas. You don't have a lot of, I mean, there's still tuning for your masses to filter through the quads, but there's not a lot of tuning to actually get your transmission optimized each day. And then the detector, extremely fast Barry switching, 10 milliseconds. We can do positive and negative detection simultaneously, so it's a huge benefit there. Just to highlight the dual source probe, this is an example of our, this is an example from one of our application notes. It was run on a 220. It is an older model of the instrument, but just showing you that you can get a wider coverage of analytes using a combination of ESI and APCI. So having both of them already installed in the instrument can definitely help with your throughput. Here we've got 3 different compounds, red, blue, and green, to make it simple. You can see on our ESI mode, the bluest was our highest response. Blue was the highest response. And then we went to APCI, we got a much higher response out of the green compound. So therefore we can run potentially the green out of APCI and then the blue and the red out of ESI to give us better sensitivity and better coverage. And this also just goes to show you further the analyte coverage, as your ESI does have a higher and more polar ionization, whereas your APCI covers, it overlaps with a little bit of PCMS analytes, but it does cover your lower molecular weights and your less polar compounds. So, you know, with a wider array of coverage by utilizing both lens. And with the diverter valve in the oven, you can actually set up the run to switch overnight, switch automatically when you're not there, so you can get both runs in, not simultaneously, but continuously, without having oversight of the instrument. So the StayClean advantage, this is really the driver behind the robustness in our instrument. As you can see, the nice little video down at the bottom kind of shows you how your ions move. It's a hot surface induced desolvation. So the entire block is heated to 300 degrees Celsius. It's stainless steel. So if anyone's familiar with cooking on a stainless steel pan, once you get it up to a high enough temperature, water will actually just bead around the pan, droplets just repel off of the surface. So the inventor of the HSID is actually where they got this idea. They were cooking mushrooms on a stainless steel pan, and they noticed they were just dancing around and not sticking. So they thought, maybe I could apply this to mass spec. You know, a true chemist always thinking of how you can apply it to your instruments. So what they did was put it to use in our introduction. So right behind ESI and APCI introductions, you have your sampling cone, and then you've got your HSID. So as that flow of hot nitrogen gas is moving through the block, it's cleaning the surfaces, it's wiping the surfaces and making sure that there's nothing sticking to the sides. It's also ions that are solvated, move through there, gain energy, and desolvate. So you get less chemical noise, reduced background, and better sensitivity. It can also lead to trying to minimize collisions and interferences as well. So it's an extremely strong introduction that has led us to decrease maintenance, increase production, increase uptime. I know a lot of other mass specs need frequent cleaning. That's not the case with this system. Actually, the introduction of pesticide and ESI is not under vacuum. So if you were to need to clean your needle or your curtain cap, you would need to cool it down, but you don't have to break vacuum for your mass spec to actually do that maintenance. So again, we're all about productivity, uptime, decreased maintenance. So this is really exciting. This is where we started to do some robustness studies. We really put our instrument through its paces and to test. We kind of took what our competitors had done and saw how we could compare to it. We did a very similar test with, this is the fetal bovine serum. So we did do a protein precipitation, but we omitted the SPE to try and that's the food. We did two tests, and I'm now getting really confused. We did do protein precipitation, and then we diluted 50-50 methanol water to do a direct injection into the mass spec and see what we could do. How long could we last? It's interesting, the red arrows there are where our competitors could not push through. So we held a 10% target CD, and then ran, I believe it was every 100 continuous injections, we ran QC injections. So these are the QCs plotted out from those 25,000 injections. This is continuous injections. It took about 3 months to complete. No maintenance in between. We were running this thing basically into the ground, but it still lasted for over 25,000 injections, no cleaning, which is amazing. We actually were curious. We know that we're getting nice, steady responses throughout those injections. We were curious what was actually getting past the HSID into our lenses, into our multiple section. So, well, first of all, we've got our introduction. This is our sibling cone, curtain cap, sibling cone. This typically is a nice clear glass window, a nice shiny stainless steel cone. I don't have a before picture for you, but you can see that there's a lot of crud built up on this cone, which says a lot about the power of the HSID for it to continue to produce, what was that, less than 3.61% CV while it looked slowly getting dirty up to this point. Says a lot about how much the HSID is actually knocking out. And then we opened, here we go. Then we opened the mass spec to see what was getting into our lens section. And there's a little bit of some iron burn there, but as you can see, the quadrupole, the multiples are nice and shiny still. So, not a lot of cleaning that's required there beyond the HSID into the mass spec. And so again, this is fetal bovine serum, extremely dirty matrix. We also wanted to see what we could do with food. So that's another high interest industry. So with this, we took, I think it's salmon, tomato, salmon, avocado, tomato, spice tire, and dog and cat food. Dog and cat must be gross. And we ran again, repeated injections, no downtime, 100 QC injections, 100 matrix injections of a QC. In between, the QC is plotted. We were able to hold under a 5.2% CD over the 19,000 injections. Again, the red arrows are where our competitors could not compete. So I think that's pretty impressive. I don't know about you guys, but that's a lot of runtime, a lot of uptime with no maintenance, no downtime, no breaking vacuum necessary. Here's the source images for the food matrices. Again, not as dirty as a bovine serum, but still pretty dirty. We didn't look at the inside of this instrument, but again, we had really nice high responses, nice repeatable responses to robustness. All from the HSID, all the StayClean technology that's providing that. So what we wanted to do was compare the traditional catcher's preparation, where we're actually taking matrix, removing matrix from the injection, cleaning it up a little bit more, with just a basic blended inject, dilute, shoot method. So from your SPE, or excuse me, catcher's method, if anyone works with catchers here, it can be a little bit time intensive, a lot of back and forth repeat steps. And then some matrices need freezing to actually release those, like mycotoxins, for example. So if you can avoid having to do this method, you can get a lot of benefit there. Decreased need for consumables, decreased time, much more cost effective. So we did a dilute and shoot in a acetonitrile and injected it directly into the mass spec. You can see that the solvent there, the acetonitrile, is pretty heavily colored, pretty green. But what we got was really nice responses. So this is an overlay of the catcher's method in green and the blend and inject method in red. And you can see that they pretty well overlay directly upon each other. There's a little bit of difference at the very peak tip, but the area there, great response. So, oh yeah, the signal to noise at 1 ppb, still above our LVQ and levels. So, pretty nice. We have a couple other examples of food matrices where we ran just heavily colored solutions to see what's new. And again, beets extremely dark and dirty. Got really good responses with these pesticides at 1 ppb. Nice high signal to noises there. Let's see, raspberries was another one, very colored. We actually had our app scientists, these were down in Woodbridge, Canada. He would go to the store every day and just get something and see what can we run today. So there's a variety of fruits and veggies, raspberries, eggplants, again, nice high signal to noises, in really dark colored solutions, which typically people don't detect that much. So again, rice, 1 ppb pesticides, nice high signal to noises. Mango, which is interesting. And again, these are a variety of sugar, water, acidity, fruit, vegetables. We really wanted to play their cases and see how it went. Oranges, acids, nice 1 ppb responses. Cabbage actually surprisingly was darker than I would anticipate, but again, more soluble compounds. The rolled oats, which here's pesticides in rolled oats. We do have an app note that I'll show at the end. A lot of these applications we've already developed so that you guys have a leg up when actually implementing them in the laboratory. Berries, nice high signal noise, black tea. I'm not sure how many. Oh, good, okay. That's lots of those. If you all ever need to see any more information, please ask me. I'll give you the references for the supplies that we find, or the matrices that we find. So, oh good, they're all just coming right away. So these are our barrage of pesticide applications, oats, berries, grapes, eggs, ranging from polar pesticides, non-polar pesticides. Some of them we use APCI and PFAS combination, some of which we only use PSI. So depending on your analytes and your matrices, we would optimize it for that application. Another hot button item right now is PFAS methods. So we do have EPA methodology 533, 537, and 1633. So any of those, again, canned methods get you up and going right away, started, as well as the experience and the knowledge from certified field application scientists like myself to come in and help train you on the instrument. Oh, and we also have direct inject capabilities. We want to optimize to avoid the SPE requirements. ASTM methods can avoid the SPE requirements, which saves a lot of time and effort in laboratories. We have that option as well. Yeah, we have a lot of, not only applies to PFAS testing solutions, but QSight solutions in general. Our robust platform, software driving compliance, which has made a lot of improvements recently to handle the PFAS regulations, hazard index calculation, response factor, such as response ratio and response factor. Consumables to drive workflow efficiency, we can provide starter kits for the PFAS methods, faster implementation and support with our application notes and FAS support. This is just a smidgen of what we have available, just to kind of give you more examples of what we have done and can do for you all on the QSight. Oh, perfect. Okay, and that was the end. Thank you all. Any questions? Yes.
All the way from the back.
Yeah. Can you hear me better?
Sorry, as I'm chewing my salmon.
No worries.
I'm curious on that HCID, HSID, whatever you want to call it. What's the temperature?
Usually it's like 300 Celsius, 320 Celsius. It can go up to 500 degrees Celsius, yeah.
Do you find any issues with, I mean, some compounds are very thermally labile, so they can fall apart. Do you find that there are certain things where you're like, I gotta dial it back and sacrifice
Yes.
some robustness because stuff's gonna fall apart?
Yes, there's not too much thermal degradation that we've seen through a lot of our applications, but a lot of them we do run with internal standards to compensate potentially for that issue. But the HCID is fully controllable, so you can program it to a lower temperature if you find that that's an issue. Thank you.
We're talking about when you lower the temperature, does it keep that non-stick property of it?
Yes, yeah, as long as you're not lowering it too much, I would have to look at what our minimum is for HCID. I know it goes up to 500, but I can't remember what the minimum is. But yes, I think it would still keep, especially because the ions are moving through there so quickly, there's not a lot of time spent in the HCID for them to, depending on, it's analyte dependent obviously, but from what we've seen, there's not a lot of degradation. Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if I missed it or not, but what method of extraction did you do for the food matrices?
Oh, for the food matrices, thank you. For the food, we emitted SPE and we did just dilute and shoot. So we blended it up with acetonitrile and filtered it and ran it. Well, we centrifuged it or filtered it either way. And then ran it as a rate from there.
So you didn't really optimize the signal using standards of water to the sugar?
Yes. We developed the method with standards. We optimized the responses with standards, and then we ran the samples through. So, does that make sense? So the QSight comes with an infusion pump that we use to optimize the methodology to dial in mass dependent parameters, optimize the mass spec.
Was there a reason to stop at 25,000?
It's a good question. I don't think we were necessarily falling out of it. I think we were more so like, okay, we're getting to a nice large number here. I think it's probably time to round it out. We were actually curious what happened to the inside of the instrument as well. So we didn't necessarily start drifting too far out. We just kind of like, I think it was also time for release. So they were like, all right, this is a good number. So, but yeah, no, thank you. It wasn't a robustness issue.
For the APCI versus ESI versus the dual,
Yeah.
do you have like a catalog or library of compounds that you tested like with each condition? And I wonder how that compares and mostly what you saw when you did that.
Yes, no, absolutely. So we do have the MRM methodology comes with a library. So it already has these the analytes, certain analytes. It's a 935 compound library.
Okay.
Already developed. So you kind of get a head start with those. But it doesn't necessarily tell you, it's also like matrix dependent depending on what your response is.
Okay.
So rounding it back out to the library of ESI versus APCI, we don't necessarily have it to that extent, but we do have a lot of comparisons that we've done in our application notes that would give you those details. Yeah, which I can share with you all if you have any questions on applications. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you.
I have one last question. So number one, we arranged to have like the most disruptive situation for a speaker. Do you think that we accomplished the goal?
It's okay. Sorry, I was coming off a little bit there. I was like, hold on, focus.
Pull through like a champ, and like you're doing this all your life. But my one question I have is probably you're not related, but have you had the opportunity to tinker with hooking this system up with like automated extractors, inline extraction, and that kind of thing?
Exactly. You said that we do have an SP50 for a 5 mil SPE pre-concentration that can work with this system, but that's kind of basic that we've done.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, thank you. We do have that. So
this fall.
Thank you, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful, thank you all, enjoy your day.
Thank you again, Autumn, and thanks everybody for coming. Thank you to our sponsors again for a wonderful night. And continue to mingle. We got dessert coming still, and hopefully some coffee to wake us back up after we So enjoy it, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try and stay up as late as possible.
That's good, too.